Shema Adonai v'chaneini, Adonai yozer li. V'fachta misvedi v'mochor li, B'tachta saki v'tazveni simcha. L'man yizamecha chavod lo'idar Adonai v'ai, v'olam l'ideka.
Shira Malois, the Dubi, to Machti Boim Rudi, by Sadoin and Nailai. Oim the Soira Glein, Vishurai, Vishuloim. Shram of Niukish, Hidroyachdo. Shamurish food, Mushiptayo, Idis, Lis, Ruil, Hoidos, Shaim Adoinoi. Shamayash, Kisos, Mishpat Kisos, Vice Dubi. Shal Yishloim Yerushalayim Yishloim Havoyim Yishloim B'chai like Shalvu B'yam Nasoyim An Achai V'raya Dav Nushulayim Bo Man B'ay Sadoin Al-Hain Yamak Shutoy V'loch
Adonai Ibn Bagis Shav Am V'ayna V'ayim Adonai Yishmael Shav Shakat Shaymeh
Shows Klal Yisrael says 3 times a day, V'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'edecha. The Mishnah in Perek HaOrei and Brachos explains b'chol levavecha b'shnei yitzrecha v'yitzer tov v'yitzer hara b'chol nafshecha afilu im hu noiter nafshecha u'b'chol me'edecha b'chol me'moincha, with all of one's material wealth. If one contemplates the history of Klal Yisrael, it becomes apparent that the above pasuk describes 3 distinct ages. Each age is identified by the primary mode of avodas Hashem that was required of Klal Yisrael at that time. The first was the period of B'chol levavecha. This stage began with Avram Avinu and ended with Zechariah, the last of the Nevi'im. Avram Avinu brought to the world the Hapkara of the Metzias Hashem, and from then on throughout generations, Klal Yisrael battled the Yetzer Hara of the Avodah Zarah. The Yetzer Hara was so intense that the Anshe Knesset HaGdoila had to be mispaled to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to take it away, which he did. After this, Klal Yisrael was given a new challenge. They would serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu and show their dedication to the Torah by giving up their lives. The age of the Nisayon of B'chol Nafshecha began. The Tkuf of Bayis Sheni marked the beginning of terrible years. The Yevonim during the Bayis, Edom, Golas Edom throughout the destruction and after, and then years of succession, crusades, pogroms, and the recent Churban in Europe. Klal Yisrael survived through the years of this Nisayon and fulfilled the challenge of B'chol Nafshecha. I believe it's fair to say that the age of B'chol Nafshecha came to an end with the end of the Second World War. No longer do we experience anti-Semitism as our grandparents did. We do not fear for our physical safety, and our lives are relatively tranquil. However, today our generation has entered into the third Nisayon, the Nisayon of V'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha b'chol me'edecha. The world is preoccupied with physical comfort and the pursuit of pleasure. The yearning for material wealth and its accumulation does not allow a person to stop and think about his relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. The urge to grow in Torah and Avodah is stifled and usually distracted by what the world seems to offer. These pursuits destroy relationships, petty jealousies, unhappiness and dissatisfaction that even chas v'sholom enter one's home and one's family. HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'Rav Chazdai shechted the Yetzer Hara of Avodah Zarah, spares us the nisayon of v'chol nafshecha, and bestows upon us the abundance of shefa. But this brings its own nisayon, the nisayon of v'chol me'edecha. Watching this kehillah grow over the last few years, I've seen fellow members discreetly assisting others financially. I've seen members rallying the troops when they had to support a friend or friends to receive the proper education for their children. Hearing what excites everyone here and seeing what is important to them has made it clear to all that the purpose of this shul is to build a Mikdash Ma'at and to battle our generation's Messiah. I believe that I can fervently say on behalf of the shul and all the people here today, Yiratzeh Mofanecha, that this new Makom Torah and Tefillah should be a place where the words of V'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha b'chol me'edecha are not just said, but become a mitzias of our daily lives and a guiding force for all of everyone's decisions. It's now an honor for us to have Rabbi Miller, Rishkol Kol Averichem, give us divrei bracha v'chizik on this wonderful occasion.
Shus Rabbanim, Kol Nasofim, Kol HaKodesh Hazeh. Come to the Evan Hapina, a Mokum, to the Oil Yankov, Matur Olech Yankov. We just said the tefillah for Ein Dois Hoyu Ragleinu B'Sharayich Yerushalayim. The Ramel said, remember, Ein Dois Ragleinu Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim Hapnuya. We're here in Toronto. We're building a shul here. Here at Tefillah in Toronto. What is the guy do? Yerushalayim. Where there's a Gemara. I'm Rabbi Yochanan. They told him, Ika Savi b'Bavel. They're old Yidden, Alta Yidden in Bavel. Alta Yidden in front of Bavel. Old people. Tama, they had Kasha. How can you have old people in Bavel? It says, L'man Yirbu Yemechem Rebbeinu Nek Alu Adama. Jews can only live long in Eretz Yisrael. Alu Adam. Saying the Krishma every day. Alu Adam. How can you live long in the Chutzlaritz? So he told them, even the Mahashkim Ma'ardik, but the Knesha, the Midrash, they came early and late, and in the morning, Kartogs, not by Nacht, they're learning Beis HaKnesses. The schus of coming to Shul helps them. So Maharsha speaks out over there. How's that in Teretz? It says only Alu Adama. Man Yibi making Alu Adama. The shul is not Alu Adama. So Maharsha explains. Asidim but the Knesiyos, the Barish will bring all the but the Knesiyos back eventually to Yerushalayim. So the Mokum of Beis HaKnesses in Chutzlaritz, it's a shtik Eretz Yisrael. It's a shtik Eretz Yisrael. So therefore you have the slus, the man Yirbu, you make it Alu Adama. That's called Alu Adama. Being in the shul, you come to shul Mchashkim Arvi early at night, you're living Alu Adama. That's your Mokum. In Ruchnius, that's where a person is living. That's his life. You know what is said already? Matoivu Olechi Yaakov Mishpesach Yisrael. Chai Yisrael, everyone else is in there. But we exist against statistics. It's a miracle. That's a Jew alive today is a miracle. We all know that all generations. What is the source that gives us the Koyach of Kiyam? Matoivu Olechi Yaakov Mishpesach Yisrael. But the Knesiyos and but the Midrashos, that Jews are always established Chutzlaritz, that gives the Havshpos HaTeva, that keeps the Ruchnius alive. That keeps us alive. When you give a bracha here, emes, they say in Panovich, in Bnei Brak, first they made the Panovich Yeshiva. Hanochas made the Panovich Yeshiva in Bnei Brak many years ago. 70 years ago. Then afterwards, they went to make Slobodka in Bnei Brak. So they came to Panovich Slobodka Yeshiva, it's competition. You have one yeshiva. Wasn't they back then like today? You make a second yeshiva, it's competition. You have a right. So Hanish told them, competition, you have a one single store, you have another competition. Or when you make a marketplace, everyone knows you make a diamond center. Everyone knows the more that attracts more people. So it's going to be a center of Torah. Bnei Brak will make a center of Torah. It won't be one yeshiva, it'll be hundreds of yeshivas. When it's a center, it attracts more and more. We will sein a marketplace of Torah and Tefillah. Possible Malach. Is jeder Mokum, jeder Beis Medrash, was is Meisef der ganze Toronto. Till nicht nur dem, was schreibt mehr Torah, mehr Ruchnis. A bisschen a Bracha zu sein, everyone comes here, everyone comes to Shul, should feel a Kedushas HaMokum. You have to make a Kedushas HaMokum. When you come in, you have to have the hearers when you're Mokum Kodesh, treat it with proper Kedusha. Right? Don't call your cell phones and listen to them. And all other Sachen, reden, schmusen. It's not a place for schmusen. It's a place for Aliyah and Ruchni. That's what we're making a basic nessence for. Shoavei Mayim. Mayim terrorism shel Mayim. Shaf the Mayim Zosain. That's the Mayim should be. A Mayim, the Torah and Tefillah. Those are the Mayim. So Shepen Wasser should be full with the water of Torah. Torah is Mayim. Hoikot Tzon is full of Mayim. That's Torah. That's Mayim. Should be a ribuy of Torah and Tefillah, should mashpia, where all the people come in the shul, and all the people, the whole Sviva, every mucking Torah is mashpia in the ganze room in the room. They shall help him. So Takazan, you watch them, you know him, shokin lein masik, they couldn't lein masik, they couldn't lein, should bracha vatzlacha, we should see Taka, Excalis Kvod Shemaim this binyan, and it's been nikra, it's a Mokum Kodesh. We gave Machna Mokum Kodesh. It's not just a gathering place. A Mokum Kodesh. We shall help the Tag. We shall Machna richtige Mokum Kodesh. So boy Tag is Sheppen Kedusha Shavlayim Sos and Meine Yeshua. Amen.
Amen.
Good question. Is it baby? Yeah. Oh, wow.
Before we ask Rabbi Ari Adler, the Mar Datsra, to give his first drasha in the new basic Knesset, I'd just like to tell you a little story. 30 years ago, I heard from Moshe Kalmanovich, Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshiva Smir in Brooklyn. I'd like to share that story with you. In the late 50s, Shmuley, I wasn't born yet, but in the late 50s, by the Hanochas and Hapina of the Mir Yeshiva in Flatbush, Moshe told me that he was sitting on the dais next to a childhood friend. I'm not sure his first name, but I remember he said his name was Rabbi Friedman. This Rabbi Friedman was sitting and crying at the Hanochas and Hapina of the Mir Yeshiva in Flatbush. Moshe turned to him and said, "Why are you crying? Look what we're doing. We're building a new yeshiva. We closed down Ocean Parkway," he told me. He said, "Moshe, don't you remember how we together in Yeshiva Ketana were learning in yeshiva, and the yeshiva's name was Yeshiva Shoavei Mayim. It was the yeshiva that the Rav of Shoavei Mayim in Minsk established." And he said, we were learning there in that yeshiva, and the Rosh Yeshiva used to walk outside and look and watch to see if the KGB was coming. And when he would see them coming, he would run in and tell the Bochum, shh, learn still, the NKVD is in the Reisen. Learn quietly, the KGB, the NKVD is outside. Don't you remember how many times he was arrested, and how many times they locked him up for a week or two, and then he would come back to the yeshiva again and say, come, let's learn until the KGB comes again. So Shagamesh said to him, so why are you crying? We, Baruch Hashem, won't have this problem. So he told him, that's exactly why I'm crying. how will the American generation, how will the new Bachram and your yeshiva, how will they see, how will they know the mysterious nefesh for Torah that we saw? And how will they experience that? The same point we find in Medrash Eicha. On the pasuk, Bila Hashem v'leichamal es kol naris Yaakov. Hashem swallowed up and did not have any pity on the beautiful buildings of Yaakov. The Medrash says, Rabbi Yochanan v'darish shisin apin. Bila Hashem v'leichamal. Rabbi Yochanan darshan 60 different drushes, 60 different kinos on the pasuk Bila Hashem v'leichamal. Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, the Medrash says, Havadarish esrin v'harba, only 24. The Medrash fears eyes. V'loi the Rabbi Yochanan have a yosir al Rabbi Yehuda Anasi. Don't think Rabbi Yochanan was greater than Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, and therefore he was able to darshan 60, and Rabbi Yehuda Anasi was only able to darshan 24. El Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, Rabbi shaya samach l'churbin Abayis hayaniskar. Rabbi lives next to Churban Abayis, and he remembered. He was able to darshan, cry, and console himself. Blazer Shach would bring down this medrash always, and he would say, the pshat is that Rabbi Yehuda Anasi straddled both eras. He lived in the time of the Beis Hamikdash, and he lived after the Churban. For him, the Churban was only a Churban of 24 kinos, because he had witnessed the Kavod Mayim, and he had witnessed the glory of the Beis Hamikdash. This kept him connected and remained with him even post-Galus, post-Churban. Rabbi Yochanan, however, he lived only after the Churban and never witnessed or experienced the Beis Hamikdash. For him, losing the Beis Hamikdash was a much greater Churban because he never had it. And for him, he had to make 60 kinos, 60 drushes on the pasuk Bila Hashem v'lo yichamo. Remembering the Gavos that was and the Kavod Shemayim that existed, in some ways mitigates the Churban, for we're not disconnected. We know and feel what we're missing and what we're crying for. We would be remiss as a Kehillah if we didn't take this opportunity at this gathering to mention the few individuals, families, who took the initiative and the financial responsibility for this project. Talking to each one, I heard the same line over and over. I want to do something to nishmas my parents. They were Ma'aseh Nefesh to rebuild here in this city. I want to do something for their zichorim. I want my children to remember them and to remember what they felt and what was important to them. This recognition, the connection to carry forth to the next dar, to have the hasagis, and Nimrat Torah and Yerushalayim for what was the value system and the principles of the previous generation, it is through this that we can remain connected, and the Golas HaShechina from among us doesn't get greater. Yiratzim Ufanecha that this new building should be a pe'er for this city, and most important, through the acts of its mispalalim, it should bring nachas to all the neshamas that enabled our community to grow, and these families here to flourish. Now it's a cover for us to ask Amar Das Rabbi Adler, the Messiah, with the Rebbe and Chizuk.
Bereshus Choshem Rabbonim Roshei HaKoyol Chaveirai V'yedidai Mispallei Beis HaMedrash Shoavei Mayim V'chol HaKol HaKodosh Hazeh. We are about B'siyata Dishmaya to put up the wall next to the Oren HaKodesh. And as we know, before every mitzvah we do, a Yid goes ahead and he explains explicitly what he's trying to do, what are his goals, and what he's trying to achieve. So I'd like to share with you a couple of moments before we go ahead and erect this wall, where we're heading to and what we're trying to get to. 59 years ago in Yerushalayim, in HaKodesh, the Shlomo Rebbe Nesive Sholom in 1953 spoke at the Even Hapina. And he said the following thought. In the Torah HaKdosha we find twice the concept of building infrastructure. Twice in the Torah was there a mitzvah to put up a building. The first one was in Parshas Noach, Haselach HaTevat Atzei Goife. Noach was commanded to put up a teva, to hold back the storm, that he and his family should survive. And he worked on this endeavor for 120 years. This is the first building. The second building, the Torah told Klal Yisrael, Va'osi li migdash v'shachanti b'soicham. Klal Yisrael should build for me a Beis HaMikdash, a Mishkan, where will be the place of Ashroes HaShechina. But these two buildings served opposite goals. A person can put up a wall for two different reasons. A person can put up a wall and build a mechitza because he doesn't want the outside to come in. He wants to be sheltered and confined within four walls so that the weather of outside, the howling winds and the gushing rains shouldn't enter his bedroom. That's one type of mechitza. But there's another mechitza too. When a person wants to build a relationship, when a person wants to build a closeness with someone else, then there has to be four walls around them to create this yichud, to create this intimacy, this closeness that's only possible to happen when they are confined within four walls. This is the second type of mechitza. Parshas Noach, the mitzvah of building a teva served the first purpose. There was a mabul raging outside, and Noach and his wife and his children could be washed away. Ribono Shel Olam told Noach, set up a teva, build this infrastructure to guard yourself that the external shouldn't penetrate inside. But the mitzvah of Asli Mishkan v'Shachanti v'Soicha was something different. It's not that there was something wrong with the outside environment. That wasn't the point of the Chiyuv HaMishkan. The Mishkan, the Cheder HaMitois, the Mishkan, when a Yid and Klal Yisrael connected to the Ribono Shel Olam, the closest intimacy possible, with a Ahava v'Chashuka v'Dvuka Boch, that's only possible within four walls. And he went on to say, when we're setting up our building today, and we're putting down the Even Hapina, our goal is twofold. One, a shul needs to have a wall, because the society that we live in, the decadent society that surrounds us, the poisonous environment which contaminates the air, can't chas v'shalom enter our shul. We put up a mechitza to hold out those Mayim azedonim, the mei ha-mabul, the mola oretz zima. We put up a wall, a mechitza shel barzel, ki chizak berichei sharoyech, to protect ourselves, to secure ourselves from that terrible, filthy influence of the outside street. But there's another reason too. We put up a wall called a Beis HaKnesses. A shul is a place where Yidden come and pour out their hearts, they connect to the Ribono Shel Olam. This is their place of Deveikus. This is their place of Yishokenu min Shikois Piu. It has to be contained within walls. Moira ben Aboisai. Mr. Koil Shlita said before, I'd like to expand on the thought that he said. What's the secret of our survival? Klal Yisrael have endured Holocaust. They've survived pogroms. They've lived through Haskalah and many other nisyonos that came their way. And yet, we are here in Tov Shin Ayam Beis, a tzibur of Yireim V'Charedim L'Hashem, that a continuance of Ma'amad HaSinai, carrying the banner of Matan Torah, and we're here today, although we went through all this. What's the secret? How was this possible? The answer to this lies in the words of our arch enemy. Many thousands of years ago, we had an enemy that wanted to annihilate the Jewish nation. He wanted Shechas V'Sholem Lo Yizoch Hashem Yisraeloid. And this Rasha, he had a tremendous power to curse people, and his curses came true. As we learned 2 weeks ago in the parasha, Bilam Rasha was rented and hired by Balak. Lecha orali Yaakov, come and curse Klal Yisrael. What was the curse that Bilam wanted to curse Klal Yisrael? Where did Bilam think is the most vital point to point his guns at? His intention was just the opposite. He wanted to get rid of the Bote Kenesios, Bote Midrashois. He was adamant to see the end of shuls. True, a shul is an important factor. But why was Bilam so interested in putting all his energy in cursing the shuls of Klal Yisrael? Because Bilam knew the secret. Bilam understood, if we wanted Klal Yisrael to continue, there has to be Oyalecha Yankov Mishkanoisecha Yisrael. Without the Botek and the Stioisid Bote Midrashois, we are lost. Without having a place that we are guarded from outside influence, what will be the future of our children? If we don't have a place of intimacy with the Rebbeinu Shel Olam, how will we grow in Avodas Hashem? And Rebbeinu Shel Olam B'chasta Yagodol was Mahapei Chaklal Levracha Ma'atoivu Oyalecha Yankov. Since when is the shul called Oyalecha Yaakov? Why does Yaakov symbolize a shul? The Pasuk says by Yaakov Avinu, Ish Tom Yoshev Oyholim. Yaakov Avinu dwelled in tents, Loshen Rabim. Rashi said the chat. It's like the Kosher Clover. Yoshev Oyholim means because the tent that Yaakov Avinu was confined in had two beginners, two meanings. And maybe the Peshat is as we said. Yaakov Avinu went inside this tent to run away from Esav Rasha, to run away from the society of Edom, to barricade himself inside the tent, not to be influenced by the outside world. But the Oyeholim of Yaakov was a Deveikus, and the kesher and the relationship that Yaakov Avinu had with the Rebbeinu Shel Olam. Twofold. Ma'atoivu Oyhalecha Yaakov. These two beginners, these two madregas, these two essential points that keep Klal Yisrael was where Bilam focused all his energy to get rid of them. With that, he'll be able to annihilate the Jewish nation, and the path will be cleared in front of him. Kile Kedosha Shoavei Mayim. Our Tzibur HaKedosha shine in these two areas. We have a Tzibur that want to be separated and barricaded, not to be influenced from the outside world. After the outcry about Gedolei Yisrael in Cityfield on Chof Ches Iyar this year, I came back to Toronto and I met with a couple of balabatim from the shul, and they were adamant, we have to do something. We heed the cry of Gedolei Hador to have Oyalecho Yankov, to be separated, not to be pulled into the lull of the Olam Hazeh, not to be pulled into the Doir HaMabul. And they said, we must do something. And these Taira Balabatim set up a committee using internet with responsibility. And B'siyata Dishmaya, they were trained, and weekly they send out an email. Every time I see that email coming on my phone, I see what lies behind that. Oyolecha Yaakov. I see a tzibur that are interested in being dovuk b'Hashem and don't want to be in the street, Rachmana litzlan. That's one point of Yaakov. The other point, when we see the tzibur, they're yearning to grow, their desire to become somewhat higher, their cheshik and rotzon to be elevated. This is the other point of Yaakov. Shoavei Mayim, Shoavei Droshe Tevis, Beistoy Medroshoi Shel Yankov Avinu. This is the place of Oyalecha Yankov Bishkenoisecha Yisrael. Before I conclude, there's a famous line that we say every Shabbat, that's said by almost such types of gatherings. V'chol mi she'oiskim etzorchei tzibur be'emuna HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yishalem Secharam. But I'd like to add a nuance that I saw from the Minchas Yitzchak, the guy of the Yerushalayim, the Chroin Lebrocha. He said it b'derech tzachus, but the point is real. What does it mean, oiskim b'tzorchei tzibur be'emuna, which we could translate to mean with faith? Why does the asken need faith? She said as follows. There are going to be two types of askanim out there. You have an asken that will call you before a simcha, any job you have I'll do. I'll call all the people you want, I'll schlep your chairs and your tables, I'll clean up after the kiddush and it's gewaldig. That's one type of oiske b'tzorchei tzibur. But then you have another type of oiske b'tzorchei tzibur. There's these type of people that understand the importance of a certain project. They understand how wichtig it is that there should be this thing in this city. And they go against all odds. They throw themselves into it. They have no inkling of an idea if they'll succeed or they'll be a failure. They don't know. But that doesn't stop them. Because they are oisek b'tzorchei tzibur be'emuna. They know they're doing the right thing. This is an important project. This has to be done. This is kavod shamayim, and you throw yourself into the deep end and you go ahead. And the Rebbeinu Shalom will help. Before I mention the members of our building committee, which each and every one of them symbolize this emunah, a couple of months ago they decided to throw themselves into this endeavor. We're going to succeed. Rebbeinu Shalom at helfen, as the motto from here, from these balabatim. If we live in such houses, shouldn't the shul be at least as nice? People that understand what it means, kavod shamayim. People that understand what it means, the mokem Torah, mokem tefillah. And it's unbelievable, it's astounding. I come here often to this site, this mokem kadosh, and I see the dedication, Iveroisham, spearheaded by Hanochas, these two brother-in-laws, Yedidi Rebbe Yamin Bax and Yedidi Rebbe Kazanovsky, who put in hours and time and thought that this shul should be a place of Kvod Shamayim, of Ma'atoivu Eilecha Yankoi Mishkanaisecha Yisrael. Together with Yedidi Reb Shmuel Zimmerman, Yedidi Reb Edzis Jakubovic, Yedidi Reb Chazolti, the Tzibur of Yidden, who are adamant to see Kvod Shamayim. And this wouldn't be possible without the constant help and chizuk and building of our tremendous builder, Rav Nosson Schomburger, sein gesund und stark. Soll der Rebbeinu Shalom helfen. In these days of Bein HaMitzorim, we have a way to get out of the Meitzar. Nachlas Yankov Yirosh Beli Mitzorim Nachlo. When we connect to Yankov Avinu, to Beisoy Midrashoy Shel Yankov Avinu, it's Beli Mitzorim Nachlo. So the Rebbeinu Shalom gave him the Siyata Dishmaya. So then God Hashem es Yankov, Shov Hashem es Shvis Yankov. And when we zoichet is Siyata Dishmaya, it will be zoichet to the Binyan Beis HaShlishi, B'Korah B'Mehera B'Imenu.
Amen.
The rest of the program will be as follows. We're going to be putting up now 3 walls. The first walls are going to be put up by the Rabbanim, by the Koenig and Reichman family, by the Mandelbaum and Hofstetter families, the Cohen and Jakubovic families, the Mejik family, the Herzog family, and the Gross families. The second wall is going to be put up by the Ehrlich family, the Davies family, the Martyr family, and the members of Shoavei Mayim. And for the third wall, we're going to ask the whole call to join in to help put up the third wall. First, we're going to ask help from the Olam to move the tables and chairs out of the way so we can start putting up the walls.
Okay, go back. Go back. Hey, Lanu, Lecha Yisrael. Hey, Lanu, Lecha Yisrael. Good.